Pearl's on travel. So she said, "Hey, you want to do a show?" I said, "Yeah, sure, of course. Why don't I just cover the early episodes of the Pregame show?" If you guys aren't aware, Pearl had a show in London called the Pregame show, and she used to have people on her show, bring in people from all over London. Well, I'm going to cover some of the early days, right? Because the reason why the show is called the Pregame was because Pearl played on a volleyball team, and she would bring her teammates on before games or after games. So she called it the Pregame show. So anyway, so let me tell you a little bit about me. I'm Doug MPA, and I first became a fan of Pearl back in 2021. I became a mod on her channel back before she had 20,000 subs. And she used to have a call-in show on Instagram. I called them there a couple times, and then we became friends offline. And I told her way back then, I said, "You're going to be a big deal." She said, "You really think so?" I said, "Yes." And now she's over 2 million subs. So anyway, um, thank you everyone for being here. I really appreciate it. Pearl's doing some travel that's essential to the future of the channel right now. So I wish her well in her travels. And yeah, so I've been supporting Pearl for the last 3, 4 years. I truly believe in what she's doing. I've seen her growth. I'm really proud of where she is. And I was helping behind the scenes for a long time. And then she wanted me to become officially part of the channel. Matt Butcher in the chat. Haven't seen you in forever. Steve M, JJ, SB, Colton, Steve M, the moderator, Guy Foe, all you guys, good to see you. Okay, so sorry about the beginning. I'll probably edit that out when this is done. Anyway, so um, we're gonna start with in the chat. Sometimes I put Cheska. If anyone has been here long enough, you'll know exactly why I do that, because you are gonna see that clip right now. Let me share my screen real fast. Make sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. We really appreciate that. We got to 2 million subs. We are on our way to 3 million subs. So I still see people coming in here. Thank you for joining me on this Saturday. Okay. So let me set the table for you real fast, because that's one of the best parts about doing these recap shows with me. I was here, so I can set the table for you. So this was back in late 2021, early 2022, because I remember this was her first apartment. Everyone can see the screen okay? Yeah, good. So this was her first apartment, and you see all this foam on the wall. This is that sound deadening stuff. So when she started streaming, all the walls of the apartment in her living room, she put all the sound foam stuff up. Look at the background. Right? Okay, so this guy right here, I'm not going to say his name. When Pearl first got to Britain, she reached out to this guy because he's an actor slash, voice in Britain, and they had a show called The Gray Area together, and it was actually a pretty good show. He's pretty based in a lot of things, but a couple of things went down before Pearl left London and before Pearl got demonetized, and he totally snaked Pearl at the end. So I'm not going to say his name. I'm going to call him He Who Shall Not Be Named for the entirety of the stream. And okay, and then this is Francesca, aka Cheska, and she is on Pearl's volleyball team. I think she's from California or something like that. Um, and guys, modern women, right? Um, modern women, they can be whores, they can be single mothers. We all know that they go to church when they've gotten dug out by Chad and Nug and Gavin, the starving musician. But that's not the worst part about modern women, in my opinion. The worst part about modern women is they talk too much and they can't keep their mouths closed. Okay. Um, too many women go online and they share things that women in the past would take to their graves. And then I'll also add to that, 'cause you've heard me say that part, but you haven't heard me say when they talk too much, a lot of modern women talk to men like they can kick their ass. Why? And you're going to see it here. The disrespect with this woman is real, right? And also, this is a conversation they're having about trans women in sports, because this was at the end of 2020, early 2022, and what was going on with the Transformers in women's sports, guys. Do you remember? Leah Thomas was beating all the women in swimming. So this was right around that same time. So this is back, I think this is early 2022, like March or February of 2022. And look how young Pro looks. And excuse the sound, because this was literally, I think this is her third show or her fourth show. And guys, go to the audacitynetwork.com. You can see all of her old content on the Audacity Network. She had to take it all off to get remonetized. I'm pretty sure this is going to be safe because I'm commenting over it. This is going to kind of ride the line because we're talking about Transformers on it. But I have to put this in context because this is what Pearl would go through on her show, especially in the early days. So let's go.
Not sure, because you say a lot of things that are very much like feminists, like feminists say them, but at the same time you're not sure if you identify as a feminist, right?
Yeah, the reason why I have difficulty pegging myself as a feminist is
all the feminists now have trouble pegging themselves as feminists. Imagine that, guys, on whatever podcast. Brian, first off, I don't watch that show unless Andrew Wilson's on there, because Andrew Wilson is a beast. But there's no point in watching whatever with just Brian, because Brian doesn't know what he's talking about. But Andrew's a freaking he's the 304 Slayer, you know. But Brian will go around the table and say, who considers themselves a feminist? And now the women all say no, but they all talk like feminists. And this the same thing here, but before it was cool to say it. So she's definitely a feminist. This is Cheska. First off, I mean, the blonde short hair. I think she has all these piercings. Yeah,
I feel like I think society's viewpoint of feminism is extreme.
Okay.
You know, because oftentimes when we see feminists, it's the more extreme side of it, right? Like, we could say the same thing for certain religions, races, whatever it may be. So in this case, like the social construct of feminism and equality or equity, like people tend to look at it in a negative way. And I'm very much an equal rights, equal lefts person. You know, like if I see a woman is fucking up, I will call it out like it is. Like I fully believe in that, because I feel like a lot of people do let women get away with BS that doesn't need to be happening.
Okay.
So I think that's the reason why I don't really come off as a feminist per se.
Oh yeah, she does, guys. Just wait. I don't come off as a feminist. Sure.
I think I just really believe in
like what kind of BS do you think that?
A Guy Fawkes said it. Every woman born after 1945 is a feminist. 100% true. 100%. And Matt Butcher, no, this isn't Brittany Griner.
Women get away with?
Sometimes abusing men. I feel like that's like the most basic thing that I could come up with now. Because like I said briefly in the last time that I was here, like my mom was abusing my dad straight up, but my dad couldn't really do much about it, you know, because like everyone's thinking like, oh, this poor woman, she must be getting abused by her man, so she has to fight back or something. Like, nah, it's not. It's really not like that. It's really my mom being abusive. And people would be very quick to take a woman's side in a case where she very well might be wrong.
Like the Johnny Depp case right now.
Yeah, that is.
See, this is back when Johnny Depp case was still going on, guys. This is how long ago it was.
A freaking mess. Like, we need to hold this woman accountable. She is a menace to society.
So what points do you agree with feminism on? Like where do you think what are we missing in 2022?
Don't you think, like, because feminism like came in waves, didn't it? So you have first wave, second wave, third wave feminism. So
I think, and guys, when it comes to this whole women abusing men thing, guys, press charges, get child support, get alimony. The time of men taking the higher road and the morally superior position are over. We did that for how many years? And they called it patriarchy. Guys, press charges. If your woman makes more money, get alimony, get child support.
I think it's kind of difficult to answer that because I need like an example.
Right.
So that I can say like, yeah, I agree, or no, I don't. And this is why.
Because like first wave feminism, I agree with.
Okay.
Personally. Women want equality, you want equal pay, you know, you want to be treated just as a man's treated. I'm down with that. I think the waves after that, it got progressively worse in my personal point of view. Like it, for me, feminism became not so much equality, but now about revenge. And I said on my show the other day, right, that feminism, this new form of feminism has given women the power to be just like the most heinous man or the most heinous men in history, right? You know, the abusers, the sexual abusers, the people that used to talk to people derogatory, but giving them the get out of not having accountability for doing it.
He's 100% correct, guys. A lot of women think that being a man is the worst part of being a man. You can see it, guys. Go on TikTok and look at these studs. Studs are those really masculine women who date women. They dress like men, try to be men, but they act like men in the worst way. Why do you think a lot of women don't want to work for a female boss? Because female bosses, they take all the worst ways of being a leader that a man can do, and they like exemplify it by 10 or 20 or 100 times. Women think that being a man is all of the worst parts about being a man. Masculinity is the best parts of being a man. Women do everything but that when they try to be a man.
That's what I believe feminism today has done. I believe you can say, you know what, fuck me.
Yeah, Yellow Evangelist said that. A stud, they stole that word. Yes, stallion, they stole that word too. What other words do women steal from men? Stallion, stud, all sorts of words.
And they're this, they're trash, they're blah, 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 and there's no accountability on your side.
But see, I feel like that's not true feminism then. I think that's just being a misandrist at the end of the day. Like,
that's something that's not spoken about enough though. Misandry is not spoken about enough.
I agree.
I think that's like 90% of feminists today. If I'm being honest, like when I talk to most feminists, they have a slight disdain for men. Like even if I say, oh, we need men in society, like we argue.
Well, I believe in that because we need a balance at the end of the day. We're gonna need both men and women at the end of the day if we're gonna function properly, because there's some things that men can do and some things that women can do that the other gender or sex cannot provide.
You need men to build stuff, if we're honest.
Okay, now watch out, because a lot of these women, they sound kind of base at the beginning, but all you have to do is keep them talking and get them triggered.
Yeah, no, I mean,
you mean like a shelf?
No, like the mic.
Like, what do you mean?
Like,
like, are we talking about like building the shelf from IKEA? Like,
the mic that you're using right now.
This stuff?
Yeah.
Like they run the infrastructure of society. Like most.
And guys, I'm gonna say it, but Pearl has been base the whole time I've known her. She is as cool in person as she is in real life. I hope you guys get to meet her at events sometimes. I'm blessed to know her and blessed to have her as a friend. She is as cool in real life as she is on stream, and she's always been based.
If men disappeared today, society would collapse. If women disappeared, it wouldn't. Outside of reproductive reasons.
Yeah.
I can agree with that, but I always bring it back to the foundation of what like these countries and infrastructure has been built on, right? So like,
which is what?
When we look at like STEM majors, for example, a lot of engineering, all that kind of stuff, it's not woman dominated whatsoever. You know, like I don't know what the statistics are exactly, but I can guarantee you it's definitely going to be less than 30% of women in STEM or something. It's changed a lot throughout the last like 10 to 15 years. That's a guarantee. But before then, it was mostly men in these types of positions and majors and all that, because women weren't really given an interest into it. They weren't really given a pathway.
But now that they are,
that's enjoyable. Yeah, and it's great that we're in it now, but
now
not
they
everybody is.
No, but now they are. They're not choosing them.
And not only that, because guys, STEM has a recruitment problem and a retention problem. Okay, only 22% of STEM students are women, and women have had all the choice the last 50 years, right? And then not only that, so that's the recruitment problem, and then they have a retention problem because over 50% of women in STEM will quit their field if they have a kid or when they hit 43. 50 to 55%. And why is that, guys? Because women, they want to feel fulfilled at work. They romanticize every single job. A lot of your engineering friends or mathematics major friends, it's boring, soul-crushing work. That's why they get paid so much money to do it. Women, they go in there, they try it for a couple of years, and they want to try something else. You know how many women I know that have STEM degrees that are still in like sales jobs or marketing jobs, or they're content creators now? Come on.
Choosing women generally aren't choosing the STEM fields.
Like, who, do you
I feel like I know a lot of women in STEM, but I can only speak from
statistically,
my own
they're not
personal
choosing
thing.
it.
Yeah, it's just like the numbers don't back that up. So because if they did a study where they took the countries that have the most choice when it comes to like jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you take like more, like Middle Eastern countries where women have less choice, and you take more egalitarian countries where women have more choice. And the more choice that women have, like the more they choose jobs that have to do with people and not things. Because women, like, we value relationships more.
Yeah.
So you'll see more women going into like medicine and like
midwifery
like nurses.
there's be a midwives and social care
and
realistically though, that's because that's our strength. You know, we have a nurturing kind of nature to us that men oftentimes cannot provide at the end of the day.
Pro's talked about this multiple times on our channel, guys. Men are the nurturing gender, not women. 75% of abuse towards children and the elderly is women. A lot of pet abuse is women. And the sad part about it is you have women say, well, women abuse kids 75% of the time because they have the kids more. Like somehow that justifies why women can abuse children. No. If there's an infanticide and a child dies, under the age of 7, it's like 75% of the time, it's the woman that did it. And if the child is under 1 year old, it's like 90% of the time, it's the woman. Guys, could you imagine if the only reason why women don't abuse men more is because they don't have our physical strength. If they had our physical strength, we'd all be screwed. Tell me I'm lying.
So like I see nothing wrong with women not stepping into STEM more than before. Like it's okay. I do agree with you in that sense that like, hey man.
So then if you believe in like equal, or if feminists believe in like equal opportunities, right? You don't equal opportunity doesn't equal outcome.
We talked about this briefly. I agreed.
Yeah.
I agreed with that fully. I'm the type of person where it's like, if you can't step up to the plate and deliver, it's not for you. Point blank, period. Like, and if you really want to continue whatever field you're going into, by all means do so. But you're going to have to work twice as hard, you know? And especially if you're a woman, you know, and in a male dominated situation, you might be looked at a little bit more crazy.
And here's the thing about this whole male dominated thing. We're in what I call the great experiment. Okay. The great experiment is where ever since millennial women are the first generation of women who can truly make the decisions to live their lives alone. And they know not what they do, because a lot of them are going to end up 65, 70, 80 with cats, right? And they've had all the option to go into whatever field they want. And a lot of women, they want to become engineers or go into law or some kind of male-dominated field just to see if they can do it. Are they going to stick around in the long haul? No. Yes, so that 51% of medical students are women now. And most of those women are going to stop being doctors at some time before they hit their 60s. A man will spend 40, 50 years as a doctor. There are male doctors where you got to lock them out of their office to stop them coming in when they're 70, 80 years old. But women will quit. 30s, 40s, 50s, deuce out. I'm gone. And that's one of the reasons why we have a healthcare crisis in this country, because so many women just quit.
So
So what do you think like feminists are really fighting for in 2022? Because I just like genuinely bottom of my heart, I feel like as a woman, I'm not oppressed at all. I don't think there's anything stopping. I'm in a very male dominated sector of YouTube. And I think being a woman's an advantage, not a disadvantage.
Your subscribership keeps going up and up and up.
Yeah. Like I honestly, I've always been in like male dominated fields. I worked in sales and my mom was also in a male dominated field. And we've always said, no, it's an advantage because you stand out more.
Okay.
So I can't think of anything like any rights that I don't have in 2022.
Well, if we look at what's going on now, especially in like a couple of states like South and Westward, at least in the US, there's a lot of bodily autonomy issues that I think like
so abortion.
Yeah, like things like that. Exactly. But then there's also like cases where gynecologists, male gynecologists specifically, will impregnate women with their own sperm, like crazy things like that. Like I think
how often does that happen though?
It doesn't matter how often it happens. The problem is that it happens at all. And it happens enough for us to talk about it and we know about it.
Well, and that's the thing that's why you can make that case when it comes to paternity fraud. False accusations. Well, it doesn't happen that often. First off, yes, it does. But second off, no man should be falsely accused and be punished for a false accusation. No man should have to find out that a child that he's been taking care of is not his. That shouldn't happen at all. So we have it on our side too.
I don't advocate for it. I don't advocate for it.
Okay,
but
wait. Okay, finish your sentence.
Yeah, go on.
Done talking.
Okay. Finish your so.
In general, I think the fight for feminism now mostly revolves around sexual assault, or any type of domestic violence and bodily autonomy. I think that's what we're mainly pushing for, at least.
Okay. And what were you gonna say, Sarah?
Yeah, because like I obviously I don't advocate for gynecologists impregnating their patients.
Yeah.
But listen, anomalies happen. That's I would guess that's an anomaly. When it comes to bodily autonomy or abortion, I personally have very strong views on abortion. I don't believe in abortion. I don't believe women should be able to kill children in their womb just because they made a mistake sexually. I don't. Like, I feel like if you make that mistake, that's your mistake. That's your burden to handle. I don't believe that you should be using abortion as contraception. Because,
and guys, here's the thing: if a man doesn't want to take care of his child, he's a deadbeat. But what do we call a woman that doesn't want to take care of hers? In fact, on a macro level, when you hear the word loser, guys, what do you think of in your head? You think of a guy in his mom's basement eating Cheetos, right? What is the equivalent term of loser for a woman? Anyone? Yeah, exactly.
Prior to getting pregnant, you have multiple ways as to not get pregnant. There's multiple ways not to get pregnant. And if you have chosen for whatever reason not to do that, then that baby's yours. And not only yours, it's also the guy that you were having sex with.
I fully understand and I agree with you to a certain extent. The issue here is that I think a majority of the time that abortion does happen, it's not just because somebody was willy-nilly just being sexually active and did a whoopsie daisy.
Yes,
like
it actually is.
I think it is.
It actually is.
We all know the stats on this, guys. Extreme circumstances for deleting a child are less than 5%. This is the I word where family is doing each other. The R word is like less than 5%. All the rest of it are women letting Chad nug, shoot up the club, and then be like, oops. That's what it is.
Only. Okay, so I'll give statistics. So about,
which country are we talking about? The UK?
The US and the UK. 1%, about 1 to 2% of abortions are because someone was either raped or molested, right? The other, there's I think maybe 5% because the contraception didn't work.
Okay.
The rest of them is because people wanted to have sex.
And I would
they
like
made
to know where you
mistakes.
got these statistics from.
I'll get them
Look at this blind absolute matters. You sound crazy. Yep, that's Cheska.
for you because I did it on my show.
Okay, don't be shy. Pull out your phone.
Yeah.
Should I pull out my
Don't be
phone?
shy.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be like we're this is like we can always
Okay, let's do it.
because
And the sad part about it is Cheska's not unattractive, but when she opens her mouth, yikes.
Cheska,
And then I think she's like 6'1". I like tall women.
like honestly, every girl I know that's had an abortion, they were irresponsible. Like they weren't even on birth control or pulling
Yeah,
out.
so
I'm
in
like,
that
y'all
case,
are
I
wild
understand.
then.
No,
Yeah.
in that case, I fully
Yeah.
understand because like my dad raised me to believe the same thing. Like
Yeah.
he was like, listen, at the end of the day, if you feel like you're grown enough to
Brad W says a childless and infertile by choice equals loser. 100%. Yeah. Yep.
get sexually active,
Yeah.
you better put on your big girl panties and know what might come out of it.
Right.
So I fully agree with that. But
Yeah.
in a case where somebody is assaulted or
Yeah.
incest or anything like that,
Mhm. So would you, if there was a law that said it was only in the case of assault or rape that abortion is allowed, would you agree with that then? Like, because I think
it's hard to like say whether or not I would agree with it. I feel like to a certain extent I would, but then it's still controlling women's bodies and what choices they get to make. That's the other problem that I'm struggling with. It's like this is where I struggle with figuring out whether I'm a feminist or not.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yes, I fully believe in bodily autonomy. I believe that we should be able to make the decisions that we want to with our bodies. However, there a line can be drawn, you know.
Okay, here's my opinion on it, guys. First off, as a concept, equality and feminism between men and women, life will never be fair for men, so women are literally advocating for their lives to be just as unfair for them as it is for men. Women literally want their lives to be harder and unfair in the name of equality. And I'm fine with that because being a man is hard. It's hard. You guys all know it. You guys remember that feeling you had when you turned 18 as a young boy? You were going out to the world, you knew you had no value. And you could perceive, especially if you had a strong father in your life. Your father got you ready for the long, hard road ahead of making something of yourself. And women will never know what that feels like. Maybe when they have a child or something, they look at that child and kind of have that feeling. But like that feeling when you're 18 years old and you graduate high school, you have to go out into the world, man. Yikes. 2, the ideal would be for a man to be able to go to the courthouse and go to the courthouse and be able to sign away his rights to say, I don't want anything to do with this child or that woman, right? But that's never going to happen. It's not. So if a man can't sign away being a father, well, then in the name of fairness, a woman shouldn't be able to not be a mother. So in the states where they've outlawed baby deletion, it's fair. Right, guys? Right? Am I wrong? Put in the chat if you agree. 1 if you agree, and 2 if you don't agree. That in the states where baby deletion is illegal, it's fair because a woman has to be a mother and a man has to be a father.
Especially when it comes to abortion, like
so from sorry to cut you, from the Guttmacher Institute, it says 13%.
The what? Let me see.
They do like white papers all the time. Can you pronounce it? It's just a German organization. It says that
German organization.
Well, German. It says 13. It's in the US.
Okay.
From the US, right? It says 13%. So it's 13% was because of the pill.
Okay.
So 13% of abortions, they said the women were saying, I was on the pill and it didn't work. So 13%. So if we got 13% because of the pill, and then we've got 1% because of grape, that's only what? Let's say 15%.
Yeah.
So let's say the majority, 85% of abortions are because of bad sexual practice.
Yeah, but then we'd have to bring it back another step. We'd have to think about the sexual education system then, because it's like, why are people having children so willy-nilly then?
Right.
Why are they so comfortable with?
Did you know what's interesting? We have more access to contraception.
Yep.
And more access to sexual education and more out of wedlock pregnancies.
So what does that say about the society?
So then where is the evidence that sex ed and contraception
Actually
has been
works.
helpful. Like it seems like if anything, it's had the opposite effect.
Here's the thing, just because we have more access to it doesn't mean that it is successful. Right. So a lot of like we have to think about like again, I can only speak on the US terms because I don't know like the school system anywhere else. But when you look at the school curriculum state by state, they're all wildly different. Like if you look at Texas versus New Jersey, we're learning two completely different things.
I lived in Texas. Texas was great. Texas gets a bad rap.
Prioritizing different things, at least. There are a lot of schools out there that bark at students to practice abstinence rather than safe sex, right? And we already know how young teens' minds go. They're going to be like, oh, but I really want to do it.
Yeah.
Why can't I do it?
I went to one of those schools.
Yeah.
But to be honest, there were no pregnancies in my school.
Yeah.
None.
I mean,
and so like I just that's why I don't really buy into like the sex ed thing, because if that was true, like we would be running crazy with pregnant kids, because all we had every year was an abstinence speaker. And honestly, like it helped. Like I was a virgin till I was like 19, 20, and that was later than most like people, you know what I mean?
But like I think that really also depends on the culture of like where you're from, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're from a more conservative area, I think naturally it might be more like that, but I'm from a more liberal area.
Yeah, we could tell.
So my school personally didn't have like teen pregnancies like at all.
We did bring back the days where if a woman got pregnant in high school, she'd just disappear. I mean, you know, I'm in my 40s, so that was the first generation. My generation was the first generation where women walked around schools pregnant. But like if I ask my parents, and most of you guys ask your grandparents, if a woman got pregnant in high school, she literally disappeared. No one knew where she went.
But I know a couple of neighboring schools that did have issues with that. And it's like their sex ed, you know, classes weren't necessarily the best, on top of the fact that most of them were from lower income areas.
So I'm just curious, like what would good sex ed look like to you? So like what would, if you were in a perfect, like Cheska gets to make the laws, like what
You're really putting me on the spot today.
No, well,
I'm gonna say one last thing. You guys remember that health class in high school? Some people had it in middle school, or I had it in high school, my sophomore year. That was the scariest movie I ever seen. It showed birth with the head coming through. That was, to this day, the scariest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. That's probably why I don't have any kids.
I'm just curious, like what would that look like for you?
I would want students to know every single available option that they have, because I don't think people realize how many options they have for contraception.
Okay.
Right.
What age would you teach it?
Well, I started learning sex ed in 5th grade. I think that's.
I don't know what that is. What
sex ed in 5th grade? Come on.
age is that?
Oh God.
That's about 10 or 11 years old.
That's a little young for.
I mean, you say that now, but
that's the thing.
they're giving.
You could get your period as young as 9 years old, so you kind of have to do
they're
that.
They're giving
you know?
talks in schools now about transgenderism at like 8. So I don't know.
Okay, so you would put in 10, 11.
I'd probably go for about that age range, because that is exactly when our bodies start changing rapidly.
So, and you would tell them like, okay, if you had like, this is what sex is from the school.
Yeah.
And you would from the school say, these contraceptions, this is what you can use.
Yeah, like this is what happens out of sex. I think the problem is that oftentimes school really just like looks at sex from a very scientific perspective, and they expect, as
you should,
the students to learn the more emotional aspect from their parents, but we can't really trust.
So I'm just curious, like, so you bring in 10, 11-year-olds and you would say, this is how to have, like, this is
not how to, this is what sex is.
So, but in other words, like
later on.
But like how to have sex in a way.
I mean, but like
the thing is, I had that conversation with my son the other day, and he's 9.
Okay.
I just asked him, as a matter of fact, has he heard of what sex is? And he's like, yeah, it's when people kiss. And I was like, okay.
That's exactly why the education is necessary.
Okay, it's when people kiss.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So the thing is that at this age, children, unfortunately, are being exposed more so to what sex is, or sexual type, even sexual type language is being used within schools nowadays.
It isn't even just schools, guys. If your child has a phone, if your son has a phone, dude, he's watching all sorts of inappropriate stuff on that phone, guys. Come on now. Because could you imagine, guys, a lot of you guys, if you had your cell phone when you were young, oh man, kids have no idea how good they have it now. They have no idea at all.
You know what I mean?
I don't think it's just nowadays. I think it's even from when we were young and even some of our parents' generation. You look at cartoons and TV shows and all that, always see these like subliminal messages, like
oh my god,
all the time. Like they
gosh,
were always dirty.
The Powerpuff Girls. Can we talk about the mayor? Can we talk about the mayor?
Have you not seen that? There's a YouTube clip about the cartoons.
Yeah,
they made a cartoon clip of all the cartoons when you were young that had sexual innuendo, and they've put them all together. And watching it, you're like, this is what I was watching. This is some crazy shit.
Like, I will never forget SpongeBob pulling out some soap and telling Gary, like, don't drop them, because like they were acting like pirates, and he's like, look, doubloons, and like, and it's like, not only are we bringing in,
guys, the 90s was the best decade. I'm gonna say it. 90s cartoons, 90s music, and the sad part about it is, I was in public school in the 90s. I'm not going to say when I graduated high school in the 90s, and I wanted to grow up so bad, but I didn't even get a chance to enjoy the 90s when I was there. So I wish I can go back in time and just like slow down and not want to grow up. Because first off, growing up is a trap. And second off, I just wish I would have enjoyed the 90s a little more when it was actually happening.
A sexual assault joke, but also... jail, like.
But what's Disney doing now with the cartoons, right? There's a whole thing about Disney bringing in the whole trans thing with the cartoons and that whole thing. So yeah, I just think, I don't know, I think children are being exposed to
but I mean, what's wrong with that though? I'm trying to understand.
I think you should protect kids' innocence, honestly, like, because once you
but what's not innocent about being transgender? I'm looking at his,
you're talking about transgender.
because transgenderism is like, it's an anomaly. Right, and it's like children.
It's not that much of an anomaly if we have to talk about it. Is my
okay? I'm gonna say my opinion on the whole transformer thing. I don't get it. I don't understand why a man would get the gift of the masculine burden. Because men, we change the world. We prop up society. You know, if you're born a man, you can achieve such great things, and then you want to give that up to try and be something that you're never going to be able to be? Are you crazy? And then also, this whole transformer thing is women's fault because they voted for all this. And these are people, I think it's harder for a girl to become a woman physically than for a man, for a boy to become a man. Because women have all these firsts, right? That they have to go through, you know, their first this and their first and that, and having to buy their first bra and stuff. And you're going to have a person who's never had to go through that tell you how to be a woman, ladies? Are you serious? What? So that's my take on it. I don't get it. Once again, you know, you have the opportunity to be a man and achieve as a man the masculine burden of performance, and you're going to give that up to be something that you're never going to be able to be? Nope.
Point though.
Yeah, but children
Hey, AJ's in here. He says, Doug and PA substituting today. Yeah, let's go. Yep. So hopefully, if you guys want to see some more of this, because I want to do a show tomorrow about some of Pearl's kickouts on her show, because she's had a couple of good ones, guys. So make sure to tune in this time tomorrow, and I'm going to pull some clips from when she had to kick some people out of her studio. It's going to be some good stuff.
Right. So, but children shouldn't be taught about, in my personal point of view, shouldn't be taught about sex.
Oh, and let me put this to bed right now. AJ's Rants and Reactions, we are twin brothers in real life. That's why we have the same speech cadence and the same stutter. But AJ's awesome, dude. You go to his channel and subscribe if you don't mind, because he's a great guy. He's the one that convinced me to start posting on my channel. So go to AJ's Rants and Reactions and subscribe if you haven't yet. Let's keep going.
At a young age anyway, especially not a sexual orientation that, in my personal point of view, is about confusion more so than sexual orientation. So it's like, are you trying to show children that this sexual orientation is quote unquote normal, where if we look at it, it's first of all, it's an anomaly. Second of all, they talk about it can be a.
But why does it matter whether or not?
Hang on, it can be looked at as a psychological or physiological, because they say gender dysphoria. explaining to a 9-year-old child what gender dysphoria is. They don't know what
You
gender
don't have
dysphoria
to do that
is.
though. You could keep it simplistic. Is my point. You have to keep it kid friendly.
Here it comes, you guys. Now she's triggered because what about the Transformers? What about the poor Transformers?
But the thing is, transgenderism isn't simplistic.
I swear to God, you're making it seem like it's far more complicated than it is. You can just say, here is someone who was born a boy. They don't feel comfortable being a boy. They don't feel like they're right in their body and in their mind. They feel more comfortable with playing with the girls. They like playing with the dolls and the makeup and whatever it may be that that's
exposing them to like mental issues at such a young age.
So you think being trans is a mental issue?
Of course it is. It's not a biological one.
You don't have to say of course. Take it down a notch.
No, but it's true. It's not a biological.
She's triggered now, guys. Here it comes.
Logical one. It's a mental one, right? If you think you're something that you're actually not, that's in your head.
Just like you think you're a 10 out of 10. What?
I never said that. You think you're 11 out of 10, which is in your head. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're talking about something that isn't, if we can look in your body and we can see you have 2 testicles and a penis, we know what you are, right? If you think you are other than what you actually are, that's something going on in your head, right?
Because couldn't I identify as a teenager if I wanted to?
Trans age, they call it.
No, I'm serious. Like,
no, I've gone into this.
What if I said I feel 17?
Yeah,
I am 17.
Well, that would.
And also, remember what else was going on at this time in late 2021, 2022, besides the cough? This is when that Rachel Dolezal girl got discovered for being transracial. Remember that girl? Remember that? Yeah.
Genuinely be something that you'd have to work with, and being someone who studies psych, that would more than likely be a trauma response. Because
so is transgenderism a trauma response?
I was not done speaking. People who struggle with their age, at least, right? Who still feel like they're stuck in their teen years or even childhood years, usually experience some sort of terrible trauma at that age in their life, and that's where they feel emotionally and physically stunted.
Yeah.
Trauma. In psychological disorder, get out of here.
So that's why, like, maybe later on they still act a certain way for years.
But it's interesting because you're kind of saying like that's like a mental disorder a little bit.
No, I can say that with peace.
Yeah.
But
trans wouldn't be.
So trans wouldn't be.
I can't see it that way because
Why?
I'm someone who's part of the LGBT community.
Yeah.
And I see how these people struggle. And
Raptor Crazy, yes, this is one of Pearl's first shows. And so I want to start a series, especially because, guys, we're going to, now that Pearl's monetized on YouTube again, we can put the money towards, we can invest back into the website again. So once again, if you want to see all of Pearl's old content, go to the audacitynetwork.com, and she has all of her old pregame episodes on there, including the one with Top G and Brittany Winter, which, I mean, I've watched that one so many times. It's great stuff. But she had to clean out all of her YouTube channel to be able to get remonetized.
Like, like people tend to make the argument that
that's an emotional response. It's not a logical one.
Do you want to answer or not?
Yeah, but it's an emotional response.
Yes, it's a yes or no question.
It's a yes or no
question.
It's not a logical one.
It's a yes or no question.
Oh my God. Let's talk about the facts, not the feelings, please.
Guys, get along.
Let's talk about the facts, not the feelings. It's like,
regardless, these things were removed from the DSM-5.
Yeah.
Being transgender. Gender dysphoria is still in there, I believe.
Right.
And they're working on the DSM-6, I believe. If not, it's already out. But it's difficult to pinpoint that as a mental illness, only because this is a whole, this is something that someone's willing to change their entire life for.
I can change my entire life to be 17.
I mean, shit.
There I am. Look, I put Cheska is treating he who shall not be named like trash. Why? She's being abusive. Please make her stop. Yeah, that was me. This is 4 years ago. No, 3.5 years ago. 4 years ago.
So Rachel, you could try.
Hang on, Rachel Dolezal changed her entire life to be black.
Oh my.
Yeah, see, he just said it because that just happened. Rachel Dolezal.
Gosh, do you know who that is?
Yeah.
Right. She was head of the NAACP. and she was a white woman.
Yeah.
So just because she identifies or thought of herself as black doesn't mean that she is.
But that doesn't make these people any less human. I think that's what I'm trying to.
We're not talking. That's what I'm saying. You're talking from an emotional standpoint. I never said trans people or whoever you are less human. They are human beings. They deserve their rights as a human being. But it doesn't mean that what they're saying.
Even respect their identity is the issue. So if a trans person
What do you mean respect their identity?
If somebody were to come to you right now, they were trans. They once were she and became he. And you knew this. Would you refer to them as what they are comfortable with or what they were originally born as?
I would refer to them as who they are, which is a man or a woman biologically, because what you're asking me to do essentially.
So then that's just disrespectful.
No, it's not
that's
disrespectful.
Blatant disregard.
No, I tell you what's disrespectful. What's disrespectful for me is to ask me to buy into your delusion.
And didn't she just say that a lot of the Transformers have some kind of issue because of some kind of trauma, and you're supposed to enable their trauma? I can't.
That's what I think is disrespectful. If I come up to you and say, listen, I know I'm a black man, but please call me Mei Ling because I'm now a Chinese woman, you're going to be like...
I hate the fact that homeboy here did Pearl dirty like that, because he's based. He's just an idiot. He shouldn't have snaked Pearl like that.
All right, you're a Chinese. I'm a Chinese woman, really? And you've met me and you know me prior to me identifying as a Chinese woman. You're now gonna call me Mei Ling.
Justice says the little blonde man needs to sit properly on the couch. I know she has her feet all on Pearl's couch.
I'm now asking you to buy into my delusion. If I feel like this, that's 100% cool. But I shouldn't ask you.
Guys, like the stream. I'd appreciate that. We have 124 likes to 134 people. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Hit that super chat button because all super chats go towards the divorce documentary. So thanks for doing that.
To buy into what I think of myself. Because like I said, you think of yourself as a 11 out of 10. Right? If you went around asking people to call you an 11 out of 10, and that's just plain arrogant and egotistical. Because you're asking people... I
wouldn't do that though.
Right, but
the only good thing that Michael Knowles said was, I identify as being right on this subject, and you will address me as such. I have to use that one sometime.
Trans people do.
All I ask is basic respect.
No, but trans people do. They ask people to call them the thing that they know that they actually aren't. Or the way they see themselves.
It's genuinely not that hard to just refer to them as she, her, or he, him as they ask, and by the name that they choose to go by. It's genuinely not that hard. My name is Francesca, right? But I go by Cheska. That is my preferred name.
Yeah.
All I have to do is tell you, hey, this is what I prefer to be called. Feel free to call me this.
Right.
And it would be up to you to call me Cheska. I would, like I said, I would prefer it. If you call me Francesca, I'm not going to respond because realistically, I don't like that name as much as Cheska.
Guys, I'm Doug in PA, right? When I live in down south in Texas, in the Spanish language, they don't have an ugh sound. And then in French, they don't have an ugh sound either. So I'm Doug. Doug. Hey, Doug. Doug. So when I was in Texas for years, all the people that spoke Spanish called me Doug. And what am I going to do? Correct every single one of them? No. That's one of the best parts about a lot of Asian people. If you notice Asian people in your workplace, they have some names that you can't pronounce, but a lot of them just go by Paul or Christy or Sarah, because they know for a fact that Americans can't pronounce their names, and they give up the battle because they have better things to, they have more important things to work on. Tell me I'm lying, guys. That's why I can't stand, Doug in PA is black. A lot of these stereotypically black names. I was at a Chick-fil-A one time, and this kid that brought my Chick-fil-A out to my car, his name was Tyvarius, Tyy apostrophe Various. Tyvarius. What? Anyway,
it's that simple.
Shooting in your name.
It's a respect thing. It's
not. Shooting in your name, is not the same as asking me to call you by a totally different gender.
Okay, so
there's no part of you that is that gender.
If they preferred a different name, even, you wouldn't go with that?
If they preferred it. Like I said, you're asked, I'm not about to...
If they went with a different name, you wouldn't go...
Listen to how she's talking to him. What I say at the beginning of the show, guys. Modern women talk to men like they can beat them in a fight. It's insane. That's one of the worst parts about modern women. There are too many guys who are walking around without getting their chins checked. And it's like 100 times that for women. More people in general in 2025 need to get their chins checked.
Into someone's delusion.
Yes or no?
Say again.
It's really not that hard of a question. I
if
promise
they ask me to call, if they ask me to call them a name,
if I came to you and I said I prefer the name Richard, even though I clearly am not biologically male,
I'll be like, what do your parents call you?
Okay,
what did your parents name you?
You're not my parents, so you wouldn't have a right to call me
by
whatever.
You wouldn't have the right to call you.
You wouldn't have the right to call me by whatever my parents call me, because my parents are different from you. You're just a 40-year-old man, okay? You're just a stranger that I see on the podcast.
Do not touch me now.
You're just a stranger that I see on a podcast.
So Cheska, like, okay. So I honestly, if I knew someone,
you know what we call that? We call that sign language over here.
If I knew someone that was trans, I probably would call them by their name, like, just because they asked me to.
You know, I was worried about covering this show because it's about the Transformers, but then I remembered that Trump's in the White House. Now they're starting to relax on all this stuff because, you know, we're starting to get some sense in here.
But the issue I get is when we start letting people live in delusion, there's consequences.
Correct.
And I really do, on some level, think that it's delusional, because you're saying you're something you're not.
But
and the problem is now we have Leah Thomas coming in.
Who's that?
Leah Thomas, the swimmer. The swimmer.
Okay.
And swimming in the women's division. And taking away opportunities from women, like real biological women, because in my opinion, we started by letting them live in delusion.
Okay.
And it slowly got to the point that now actual real women are losing opportunities in athletics.
Right.
Okay.
Right. That's what happens when you live in. That's what happens when you say, "Oh, but they feel a certain way, so we have to respect it."
Genuinely,
it has real world consequences.
As much as I would love to, give a viewpoint on that, I can't.
Okay.
Because one, I'm not trans. Yeah. I feel like I can't speak on it until I speak to other trans people who are athletes, as well as cisgender people who are athletes, and see how they feel about it. And two, I'm still curating my research on that, because I'll be honest, throughout high school, I felt that way.
Yeah.
I was like, why the hell are trans people ending up in divisions that I feel like they're not supposed to be? I realized that
that happened at your school.
No. I realized that it was me denying their identity in a sense, right?
Look, we know what's fair and what's not. Okay? We know what's right and what's not right, especially as kids. It's not till you're older and you have incentives like making money or, competition and stuff that you kind of get, and unless you have a single mom, that'll get you out of what's right and wrong really quick. But in general, most children know what right and wrong is. So when she was in high school and she's having to play against these Transformers, she knew that it was wrong. It's not fair. It's not right. But then she drank the Kool-Aid. Now she's like, I have to affirm their identity at the cost of her own opportunities as a woman. And that's what this whole thing is.
Right. I know that realistically, no matter what, this person was born opposite of what they are, but I do not want to deny how they feel and what they've experienced since more than likely such a young age about what they identify as. But at the same time, like, I have to look at the science behind this, right? Like, because I've seen a lot of trans people come out and say, like,
it's so funny because these are the same people saying, oh yeah, believe the science during the cough, but then don't believe science when it comes to gender, when it comes to Transformers. Isn't that funny?
Listen, my body has changed completely, specifically with women, at least trans women. They're like, I don't understand why people get so upset about trans women entering women's divisions, because estrogen really does break down our like muscle mass and like our strength that we had as men previously.
Not their bone density though.
No, I'm sure,
yeah.
but that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying like I have to do more research on it first before I can really curate an idea on it.
Guys, once again, go to the audacitynetwork.com. It has all of Pearl's old content. She has all of her old pregame shows on there, so you get to see the humble beginnings.
But I'm kind of like teetering with it because I could understand. Like I used to feel that way genuinely. Like I was like, yo, I'm a girl and I feel like I'm fighting for my fucking life, and it's already hard enough as a Black girl at that, right? Like,
of course, you saw that coming. B-dubs cannot. They can't go through any conversation without saying as a Black woman.
We have to deal with bullshit from both racism and sexism.
Yeah, well, I just think it's like disrespectful to honestly real women, like women that were born that way, because we go through shit they'll never go through.
I said that earlier. These people have never had to go through all the firsts that biological women have had to go through when the girls becoming women. They're going to have these people say, here's what a woman is. I'm a woman. Okay.
They'll never go for a smear test.
Yeah, they'll never understand like
what do we deem a real woman though?
Like
I'm just curious.
What's a real woman? A woman that was born
biologically
with a what is it? X and
a womb,
or
XY, XX, sorry,
XX chromosome in a womb, and I know they're gonna like bring out exceptions to the rule. Where, like,
intersex people, that's what they do.
MGTOW by Logic is another longtime moderator. He was there way back when too.
Argument, but or the few girls that have fertility issues, but that's very different than surgically changing a dick into a vagina.
Okay. Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you.
Uh-oh. 1 second, guys. Hold on. 2907. Hold on. Let me reload it. 2907.
But at the same time, like I have to look at the science. But Black girl at that, right?
Like, with what is it? X and
a womb,
or
XY.
I think again, like because I'm part of the community, I have more insight on how they feel about it.
Yeah, she's part of the community, as in the LGBT HCTV community. And guys, I mean, come on. I'd say 80% of female basketball players in the United States are on the other team. Come on now.
Yeah.
And I can go off of that better as opposed to the
but like I said, this isn't how you feel.
I'm not done talking.
I know you're not, but I'm just letting you know.
I don't want to hear you right now. When I'm done speaking, when I'm done speaking, listen.
Why are you talking about feelings? We're talking about facts.
See,
Bro, you're going to have to stop him before I do.
You hear that, guys? Right there. You hear that? This is modern women right here. What's she going to do? What's she going to do? And it's sad. I don't even like these guys who are running from their girlfriend. I saw this video where this guy is doing the car game where you run around a car from his girlfriend, and everyone's laughing. Why do we do that, guys? Why? It's because of stuff like this. This has gone on way too long. She's literally physically threatening him, knowing she can't do anything to him.
He's just asking you a question. I don't think he's.
What you gonna do?
No. Listen. What are you trying to do?
Nothing. I'm just asking the question.
So it's a. We're all talking, right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We've been able to interact.
Yeah.
One of my favorite clips of any Pearl show of all time is coming up. You'll see it. Here it comes.
Fine. Yeah. And if we cut each other off, we're like, all right, like Gucci, like, oh wait, my bad, like whatever.
I just don't think
here just keep popping in,
I just don't like a freaking
weasel. Like
you just don't like being cut off by a man. That's what it is.
Like it is so irritating.
You don't like being cut off by a man.
No, because you keep on saying like, oh, facts over feelings. Like no, like at least when Pearl is interrupting me, she's saying like, oh wait, but. Like this is what I see. This is what I know. So you're just saying no facts over feelings.
What if he puts butt facts?
She's looking to medal in the Oppression Olympics. There you go. Metal Gear Rocket Arm said, "Why don't B-dubs ever say as an obese woman or a mid woman or a DEI high person? Because all of that is included in as a black woman in 2025. And this is why, because they're all looking to medal in the oppression Olympics. This is back in 2021 to 2022, guys.
So
Yeah. What if I say facts over feelings? Yeah. What about if I do that?
He could get fucking slapped.
I just like.
Did you hear that? She said that he's gonna get slapped. I swear, man.
Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
really?
To me, like, and I think what he's trying to say is like their feelings about it don't really matter.
She ain't gonna slap
like,
me.
It's all about like.
But if
what's
we functioned off of only logic and reality, we would be a heartless society. Genuinely, I believe that.
I don't know. I think
currently
the second place Leah Thomas, the girl that got second to Leah Thomas would be cool right now.
Listen, here it comes, guys. You ready? Classic moment. Watch.
So
how many times have we
balance is needed? Okay,
how many times have we looked at like politicians, for example, going based off of their emotions, sheer emotions?
Yeah.
Like, and not even close to logical sense. You can find a balance between emotion and logic.
Yeah.
You can find a common ground. I fully understand.
Not on certain things.
Anyway.
Let's rewind.
Emotion and logic.
Yeah.
You can find a common ground. I fully understand.
Not on certain things.
Anyway.
Swear. You guys. That's why if you ever see me in the chat, put Cheska, it's literally because of this right here. Let's watch that one more time.
Yeah.
You can find a common ground. I fully understand.
Not on certain things.
Anyway, we can find a balance between emotion and logic. I do believe that there are times where we have too much logic and too much.
I watched this live. I couldn't believe it.
Emotion.
Right. What do you think? What do you think? Do you think that was too much emotion or too much logic? Which one?
I think it was me telling you to shut the fuck up because you don't know how to sometimes.
Listen to how she's talking to him, guys. This is modern women right here. And there's certain parts of the world where guys wouldn't put up with this. If she tried to do this in Nigeria, certain parts of Asia, bow! Don't put your hands on women. But, what did Bill Burr say? No reason to hit a woman. Never, ever. This right here.
But anyway, I said what I said.
All right, no, I heard you. I heard you.
Need to go hand in hand in times like this. When there's too much emotion involved, people can genuinely get hurt. And
okay, we're gonna switch gears. We've heard enough of Cheska, but now you know where the Cheska comes from. This is modern women right here, guys. Modern women. And you know what's the sad part about it? I'm from a very liberal state. A lot of these women, they'll wake up in their 30s and they'll want to. And here's the thing, guys. If you say that Cheska, she's not an ugly woman, especially if she had longer hair. She's just doing that thing where, first off, she's part of the LGBT HCTV, and second off, she wants to make herself look a certain way to attract the women and to fight the patriarchy. But if she could win if she wasn't swinging on the other team, and if she grow that hair out, and if she lose that attitude. She's cooked. And there's nothing worse than a waste of pretty, guys. Nothing worse. Nothing worse at all. Make sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. And if you're watching this after the fact, drop a comment. Let me know what you think about this, because I want to do this more often. I told you I've modded every single one of Pearl's pregame shows. I'm going to show clips because I want to keep the entire episodes on the Audacity network. We want you to join that, become part of the community over there. So let us switch gears here. And we are going to bring out Miss Amy. Now, let me set this one up. So this was her third show. It says episode 8, but I think it was episode 3 because she wasn't done putting up the sound stuff yet. And then this is Stay Slick with Kit. Dude's awesome. He's still on YouTube, so find his channel. Subscribe to him. And this was one of the first interviews where Pearl got famous because of her. And now, Amy didn't know that once you put things on the internet, it's there forever. Because she says some stuff in here where you're just like, what? And some of the things that Amy said went so viral that she put a GoFundMe up to raise money to try to sue Pearl. She got a decent chunk of change, but I don't know if she ever sued. But yes, she put a GoFundMe up saying, I was on Just Pearly Things, this podcast, and I didn't know what I was getting into, and I was traumatized and my feelings and my trauma. So give me money so I can sue Just Pearly Things. All right. Let's go.
We're going to talk about women getting pregnant.
Hit it first. Go on.
Okay. So I'm going to.
And this was earlier than the last one because Pearl's first shows were on this table. Literally on this table. And just watch out for the sound. This is before she knew how to set the sound settings.
Give you my opinion, and you can comment on it. I think it's 99.999% the woman's fault if she gets pregnant.
Why do you think that?
Because we are in control of sex. There's a million forms of birth control. Mm-hmm. 2, you get to pick who you sleep with.
Yep.
And 3, there's condoms. And 4, you can even get an abortion. So I think if you get pregnant, it's your own fault.
So
see, and this was Pearl at the very beginning. I'm telling you, Pearl has been based the whole time, guys. This was her third show or something like that, and she still had and she was what? Because Pearl's 28 now. So she was 23, 24. Can you imagine if we had more 23 and 24-year-old girls thinking this way? Can you imagine?
You said it's 99.9% women's fault.
I think that men out here just shooting up in random girls are dumb. Okay, I think you guys are stupid.
So do you think?
But I would say that the responsibility is mostly on the woman rather than the guy.
So I don't disagree that culturally, so there is more power in the woman in regards to getting pregnant.
Uh-huh.
And you want to talk about a Tyrone? Kit is a total Tyrone. You can just tell, man.
But to say that men are only responsible for 1% of that, I disagree. Mm-hmm. I would say, because it does take 2 to tango. Because here's the thing, right? Mm-hmm. It is true that most men would have sex with anything.
Yeah.
But the small percentage of men who maybe have a lot of options wouldn't. They exercise discipline, especially if their time is money.
Right, but even if, let's say, they wear a condom, right? What happened to Drake?
Yeah, but this is when that Drake thing happened, when he put hot sauce in his condom. Remember that, guys? That was like 4 years ago. What? Wow.
That doesn't count.
It does count. That happens to really successful men all the time.
No. What I mean is that's completely on her. That's not even 1%.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, even if a guy wears a condom, a girl can take it.
It's true. Yeah, that's true.
So that, like, is
but
that his fault?
That's not his fault. But I would say if she got pregnant from that, that's not 99% her. That's 100% her.
Yeah.
That's none of him.
Yeah.
But I'm saying if it was, if
you're gonna...
oh yeah. Fuck you, Drake. No, but if a guy has. Because if she chooses to have unprotected sex with him, she's making that choice, but he's making that choice.
Okay, but let's say she does. Who has the choice to take the Plan B pill?
No, who has the power to? Yeah, she does. That's why I said
who has the power to get an abortion?
It is her.
Yeah,
it's true.
Does the man have any say in that?
I agree.
So that's why I say it's her own fault. You could have. Okay, let's say 1, you can track your cycle. There's only like 5 days in a month or whatever that you're really likely to get pregnant. I know it can happen outside of that.
Yeah.
Okay. But you can track your cycle. That doesn't work. What can you do? A condom. Okay. If that doesn't work, you can get a Plan B pill. If that doesn't work, next time around, get an IUD. So if that doesn't work, no, I'm not done.
Okay.
If that doesn't work and you get pregnant, you can go get an abortion. The men have no say in this. None.
I agree.
And Pearl's 100% correct, guys. If you're here on this channel right now, you already know this. Men have no reproductive rights. And I was thinking about this the other day. So many things have been normalized when it comes to men in media. You know, the dumb husband trope. Oh, yeah, the wife has to save the dumb husband from himself. Or how about this, guys? They've normalized a man and a woman having sex, the woman getting pregnant, and then telling he has a kid 8, 10 years later. It happens all the time. Think about all the times that's happened. That's why Jenny from Forrest Gump is one of the worst movie villains of all time. There's Darth Vader, and then there's Jenny from Forrest Gump. She not only did she catch the high five, but she kept Forrest Gump's kid away from him for freaking, what, 7, 8 years? Even Batman. Damian Wayne, Talia took his DNA, had his kid, and said, hey, here's Robin. It happens all the time. How have we normalized this? And that's one of the reasons why the women are never going to put the avenue in place to be able to stop paternity fraud, because it's culturally, socially acceptable to do stuff like that to men.
I know.
So like
that's why I said culturally.
So I don't understand how these girls are saying, "Oh, it just happened." What do you mean?
For all the new people, I am Doug MPA. I have been a moderator on Pearl's channel for 4 years, and I officially joined her channel last year. And so that's why you see me. I screen the calls. I participate on the call-in shows, and I want to start a series where I cover her old pregame shows, because I was there for every single one of them. So I can give you a little bit of insight on who was there, why and where, and how people were reacting at the time. So once again, if you like this kind of thing, I want to keep the episodes going. Once again, the entire episodes are going to be behind the paywall on the Audacity Network, but I will post clips and I will go over them.
Just happened.
That I agree. That's silly. Like, any girl's just like, oh my gosh, it just happened. You got pregnant. Like, you played that part.
Yeah.
Here's my question to you, right? So there's like over 40 forms of birth control for women.
Yeah.
If it were reversed, there was over 40 forms of birth control for men.
Yeah.
But it was still obviously women who choose who have sex with. So I'm saying the intersexual dynamics.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in terms of culturally, it is men who has the birth control power, not women.
Mm-hmm.
Would that then change your position?
Would that
who's responsible?
On who's responsible?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about this, guys, because I'm so tired of these feminists. Oh yeah, why don't men have a birth control pill? Women know not what they ask for. Because men control access to relationships and marriage. That's the one thing that pisses women off, that they can't make a man marry them. They can't make a man be in a relationship with them. That's why women always ask, oh, what are we? You know, I'm not going to keep doing this if you don't give me a ring. You ever hear men say that? No. Could you imagine if they have a male birth control pill, men will control access to relationships, marriage, and if a child is born? Could you imagine? Think about this. You are married to your wife. You and her agreed to never have children. She says, you're taking a birth control pill. And then all of a sudden she says, I want to have a kid. And you say, okay, honey. She says, oh, stop taking your pill. You say, okay, honey, sure. And you keep taking it. She can't stop you. So you're shooting up the club and it's not happening. And she's like, I don't know why it's not happening. You say, I don't know why either. At work, in the drawer in your desk, you have your birth control pill and you take it, and she can't stop you. The birth rate would fall off a cliff. Tell me I'm lying, guys. If you were a man and there's a birth control pill, would you take it? But put a 1 in the chat if yes, 2 no. I think a lot of guys, especially rich and powerful men, would take it. You have, oh, I would never take it. Yeah, you would. There's a lot of guys who say they wouldn't be on it, but they'd be taking it.
No, because at the end of the day, women.
Oh, Raptor Crazy says, how come Pearl isn't doing the show tonight? Because she is traveling. She went to where she's going to move, and she's looking at studio spaces because she's going to move in the near future, and she's making sure that everything is Gucci before she moves. I'm not going to say where, But yeah, she's doing important travel right now for the future of the channel.
Men have no say in abortion. If you get a girl pregnant and you're crying to her and saying, I don't want you to get that abortion, there ain't shit. There ain't shit you can do. You can't save that kid. And so at the end of the day, a woman can't have a child that they don't want to have.
So I fully agree with that. I'm fully like, that's my person. But like, if I ever got pregnant, so I am sexually active. I'm not on contraception, but I tell men straight away, I'm like, come in me, don't come on me. And I'm like, but I know if that happens.
Who would say that on a podcast? Did you hear what she just said? Let's rewind.
I'm like if.
And so at the end of the day, a woman can't have a child that they don't want to have.
So I fully agree with that. I'm fully like, that's my person. But like, if I ever got pregnant, so I am sexually active. I'm not on contraception, but I tell men straight away, I'm like, come in me, don't come on me. And I'm like, but I know if that happens, I'm like, well, it's my responsibility to be like,
girl, hey, you're wild. What are you doing in these streets? What
I'm having a hoe season.
She's in her hoe season. Guys, and this is back in 2021. Yeah.
Responsible hoe season.
But I am. That's why I tell
them.
Oh my God. That's why I
you
tell
can get one STD that ruins your life.
I've already had chlamydia. I got chlamydia.
Oh my God, guys. Modern women can't keep their mouth. I keep telling you guys. I keep telling you. Come on. And this clips from this went everywhere. Everywhere. You really got to watch yourself when you go on these podcasts, guys.
Oh my God, don't do this to yourself, honey.
I got chlamydia being responsible. Responsible.
You clearly didn't. Like, you couldn't have been that responsible.
I was 18. It was the second guy I ever slept with in my life. We were friends. We were XYZ. And then I get that text being like, hey. And I was like, hey. He's like, oh, so
do you wear a condom?
No.
Okay.
But that is when I learned. People don't know. He didn't come inside me either.
Okay, but that doesn't mean you were being responsible.
No, but a lot of people, if you don't know, chlamydia is passed just through contact. They don't need to come inside you. So even if they've got chlamydia on their hand, chlamydia passed that way.
But what would reduce your odds?
I mean, at that point, I was a very different human being. But I'm like, oh, I had chlamydia.
But you're not, because you're doing the same thing now.
Well, no, because I make sure that everyone. Also,
how do you make them get tested and make them pregnant? Yeah. Really?
We don't say clean either. So I was an ex-sexual health professional. We don't say clean.
Of course she was.
We say STD free, because obviously the opposite of clean is dirty, and we don't perpetuate that like stigma. So I'll say like, I literally will say to people and be like, hey, I'll tell them, I'm like, I'm not on contraception, but I get tested very regularly. So
you're not on birth control.
No.
Oh my God.
No. And that is because
I'm so
and
sorry.
Do you know what?
I can't.
And that is because it fucked up my hair, it fucked up my body, it fucked up everything.
Do you know what fucks up your body? A baby.
But I'm responsible for that.
With what income?
No. But what I'm saying is abortion. So what I'm saying is,
you know what else fucks up your body? Abortion.
Yeah.
And your mental health.
But this is what we're talking about. It's responsibility. Is that I'm like.
This was 4 years ago. And modern women have only gotten worse. Tell me I'm lying. Think back on, in fact, put in the chat the year, if you can remember the month and the year that you were exposed to Pearl's content. Put it in the chat if you remember. And then tell me if it's gotten worse from when you first saw Pearl's content. Because I think it was summer of 2021, because I remember when she first moved to London, and she was still the whitest girl in the world who reacts to rap videos.
If that happened, so I tell men, and they're like, "Oh, pull-out method," or I'm like, "Okay, like, do you want to use a condom? Like, cool." I'm like, "Yeah, I'd rather they did." But if I ever got pregnant, I wouldn't be like, well, it's your fault. I'd be like, no, this is on me.
Okay, but this is like point in case where women are using abortion as a form of birth control instead of something that should be used in an emergency.
Oh, no. So that's, fortunately, that's it. I'm 27. I've had a lot of casual sex.
Yeah.
But that's it. I'm like, yeah, we will either I'll tell men, and so a lot of men that I sleep with, actually, to be fair, most of them are like, well, I'm either not going to come on you, or I'm going to wear a condom, or I'm like, you're just not going to finish. Like,
okay.
We'll finish in another way. And if a guy is like, I'm still going to try and finish inside you, I'm like, no, you're not, because like, I'll call you daddy, but I don't want to make you a daddy. Like, that's literally like, that is like, I will say that to men all the time.
Okay, I just want to clarify some understanding. So right now you're in the streets, right? You're streeted, you know, street walking.
But even that is a judgment on women to be like, hey, casual sex is not okay for women. But it's okay for
I didn't say if it was okay for men. What I'm judging you for, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, go for it.
It's just like, this is so irresponsible. Like, because if I'm understanding it right, okay. So you're sleeping with these guys you don't know that.
No, I know them. I know them very well.
Okay,
I date them.
Okay, you date them, and you're not on birth control, and you have them finishing you.
No, they don't finish me. No, never.
You just never, come in me, not come on me.
No, the opposite. Oh, did I say? Oh no, fuck. There's like, here's the love.
I was gonna correct her, but I wanted to see how far this would go.
Oh my god, no. Okay, no, that's my bad. Oh my god, no. There's that. Here's the love. Here's the honor. If you can't come in her, come on her. I tell men straight away.
Fucking women, dude. God. Ugh. And you have to assume that if you're on a podcast, that it's going to be seen all over the internet, and this is going to be forever. I should do a Where Are They Now on this chick. And you know what's funny? When Pearl was in London, before I started watching Pearl, I used to think that the English accent was so sophisticated. But when you hear as much BS that you hear on Pearl's show in London in an English accent, now it's totally ruined for me. Totally ruined.
Straight away, I'm like, do not finish inside me. And that's why I say, I'm like, I will call you daddy. Do you want to be a daddy? And they all go, no.
Let me just clarify. You don't have them wear condoms, though. Your only form of is pull out.
Oh, no. Like, they can wear a condom. But then it's on the guy that they're like, well, I don't want to.
No.
And I'm like,
you get to pick. So like, do you make them wear a condom?
I don't make them if they don't want to.
Okay.
But then I have the conversation with them. I'm like, look, you've got choices. Either you don't finish, you wear a condom, or you pull out. But I'm well aware that if they don't pull out in time, I'm like, that's on me.
Do you track your cycle too?
Yeah. Okay. I get tested very regularly. That's it. Ex-sexual health professional. Sexual health is the one part of our health that we are fully responsible for. We are fully responsible for getting tested. We are fully responsible for being.
I agree with you.
We are fully responsible. For, and I was like, I do think as an individual, as a woman, if I was to get pregnant from my reckless behavior, I'd be like.
SMVSH said, "Get a Roadman English has to be the most insufferable I've ever heard." Nah, man, the jerk. Guys, put the worst accent in America in the chat. But yes, for me, it's the Jersey accent. There's no, the Jersey accent's number one, and then the Memphis accent is number two. But what are the worst accents where you just can't stand hearing them? Once again, Jersey accent number one, Memphis accent number two.
It's not on you, it's on me. I have taken that risk.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll take that risk. But because I am very comfortable with the idea of, I know abortion's not nice.
Yeah.
I'm not here like, if I get pregnant, I'll have an abortion.
Yeah.
But I'm like, do you know what? You don't get in a car thinking I'm going to be in a car accident, but you know full well every time you get in a car or you get on a plane, you're like, there is a low-key chance that this could not end well for me.
It's just interesting because whenever like I talk to people about abortion, they always make it seem like it's only used in like
chill, but it's not.
No, that's not chill. That it's only used in cases of emergencies and like all that stuff. But and my feeling is that it's more used as a form of birth control today, rather than, and it's usually because there's some form of irresponsibility, rather than like the exceptions.
So that is very. So I was a sexual health advisor for the largest trust in the UK, BPAS, who are the British Pregnancy Advisory Service. Who are the number one provider of abortion. I'd also like to say
every single person that I know that's had an abortion, it was like just them being irresponsible. Like it was literally just them being like, I don't know a single person.
Well, I've in my time in my position, I'd only spoken to one girl who was like, oh yeah, I need an abortion. But I used to know the BPAS number off by heart. It's something like 0300 300 800 or 0300 800 300.
Oh, I mean,
I knew it off by heart. But the first woman I ever spoke to and assisted in abortion, she was a married woman. She had 2 kids. Her oldest son was disabled. She was like, even my daughter that we had was like an accident, but a happy accident. And she was like, she was sobbing to me on the phone. She was like in her late 30s. And she was like,
does something maybe say that's not really like natural if we're like sobbing? Like,
all right, there's one other part I think I can find.
Saying, like, do you think they should legally, he could say, like, let's say he gets you pregnant. He can legally say, look, I want her to get it.
And that would literally be a blank face lie, because we know there are.
Right.
We know there are.
Right.
And in an ideal world, yeah, there wouldn't be. But you got to be a realist. You've got to be a realist.
Let's go to there's actually a pretty good spot in the beginning. So let me.
Okay.
We'll go for another 20 minutes.
One guy, he's got body quite powerful. It almost felt like I say.
Well, I think men are more competitive, right? So
ego. So adopt. I was training as a social worker for a little while, and even that, like, that is like, you know, there was a lot of good. If you want a family, you can have a family. You don't necessarily.
Okay.
I think it's more that because of her guilt and because of our care for her.
So, okay, this is another subject I wanted to touch on since she's talking about it. Adoption. Why are so many women so quick to adopt children? Why? Men don't want to raise another man's children. Men don't want to raise another man's children, even if the woman that he sees is attractive, if it's her child, right? We really don't want to raise a child that isn't genetically connected to anybody in the equation. Because I hear all these women, oh, I'll just adopt. You know what that means? If a woman is older and she adopts a child, she's cooked. She's cooked for the rest of her life. Ladies, if there's any women listening to this, if you're older and you adopt a child, you are resigning yourself to being alone for the rest of your life. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree and a 2 if you don't. I see a lot of modern women on this podcast. I'll just adopt. I'll just adopt. Guys, is there a difference? Like, do you rate single mothers who have a child out of wedlock differently than a single mother who adopt a child? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Isn't right. If you're not happy, you can leave. And I was like, however, I do recognize that maybe, I know one of them was actually like a complete like narcissist psychopath. He lied about having cancer. He told me he had a cancer and he didn't. And I was you're actually a bad.
This is when she's talking about her toxic exes. Watch.
Regardless of where she sits on the political spectrum, whether she's conservative or liberal, whatever, if a woman wants to have kids with a man and she wants to build a family, she will always care to some degree about how much he can make.
I think the only anomaly that I would have to take nod to is there are some women who choose to have kids like on their own, who choose to like have, and they're like,
do you think that's wise? When again, we need 2.5 million to.
Oh yeah, the sound. Let me go a little further.
Also want to be confident and secure, and I don't care if other people accept me or not. And it's messy. It's messy.
Okay, I'm gonna read some super chats. Okay, so the next one. Did I read this already? I can't remember. Did I do that?
Oh yeah.
Okay. If I didn't already, Zentience, you have.
Whatever happened to Zentience? He should drop $100 bombs in the super chats before it was cool. I hope he's still around. I know he's still listed as a mod on the channel. Zentience, if you're out there, come back, man. Where have you been? I think he's a doctor or something, because he'd always say, oh yeah, I'm watching while I'm doing my rounds. Like, okay. And he'd always drop $100 super chats in the super chat.
Been super chatting a lot lately. Thank you. Did I do that?
Oh yeah.
Okay. If I didn't already, Zentience, you have been super chatting a lot lately. Thank you. By the way, guys, all donations go am reinvesting it into the studio. So I just got a new camera.
And the broken mic.
I think I broke my mic. I'm not really sure like what's going on with them. They're having problems. I might send money. Anyways, and I'm gonna get a new table. I'm gonna get a wooden one because it's like better for sound. So Zentians, I hope I said that right. But you allow the man to finish inside you. You even said you would stop it under certain circumstances. Why not stop it under all circumstances? Accepting responsibility is not conditional. Either be responsible or not.
Oh, I don't let men finish inside me.
Yeah. Oh,
so that might have been. I don't let men finish.
$100 super chat. Yeah, I should.
Regardless of what this says.
I don't even
that's
know
very
what.
kind of you.
I played a sound. I don't really know.
That's very kind of you.
I haven't actually figured out how to use the soundboard yet. But Pearl, actions predict future behavior. Past actions predict future behavior. If a woman is impaired bonding, look it up. She's more likely to revert to being a 304, infidelity, divorce. And if she isn't bonded to her mate, what sense man is willing to bet that she will make moral and sound decisions. So it's like she's saying like if you're sleeping around now, like then that like.
I think that's really reductionist. So if you knew me, I was suicidal. I tried to kill myself.
Of course she was. It's funny because, I'm from the West Coast, from a very liberal state, and she sounds like a girl from where I'm from, but just with an English accent. And here's the thing. I mean, you could tell by the glasses and the short hair, guys. Tell me I'm lying. And then where would you rate her on a scale of 1 to 10? Because it's a shame. Because once again, I think she's doing this whole, I'm gonna have my hair short and these goofy glasses to fight the patriarchy. But then, I can't say that because she's out here in these streets letting guys hit it raw, getting chlamydia. So never mind.
A couple of times. And so if you knew me, who I was, even a year ago, not a year ago. A year ago was good, but 2 years ago, I was very codependent. I had very low self-worth. And so to be like your past actions determine who you are. No, it's all about self-awareness. It's all about
you can't say if a guy went to prison 3 times for attempted battery, he might do it again.
Oh no, 100%. So, like you can say that. You can say that. But to reduce a woman to be like, oh, just because. So I was very codependent, and so the men I date now would be like, well, based on your history, you want a relationship with me, you're going to fall in love with me. And I'm like, you are very confused. I don't want that at all right now.
I will.
Because I'm very different. I've been single by choice for a year and a half.
I'm saying like, that's not a bad thing. It's okay to like fall in love.
But it's been a year and a half. It's been a year and a half and I've not.
Yeah. But I'm saying like.
Can I ask you a question? If you met a guy that you really liked and you were considering him for a relationship and he told you that he had cheated in every relationship previous to this, are you saying that would not at all impact his desirability to you for a boyfriend?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not. Again, that's it. It's not black and white. It's not one size fits all. I will keep saying till I'm blue in the face. It's not one size fits all. It's really
not saying
the nuance, and it depends. The nuance gang and the it depends gang.
That it'd be like, not saying it's the deciding factor, but like, would it not shift your opinion of him potentially as a boyfriend, or do you think that would not impact your view of him at all?
No, being realistic, yeah, it would. Yeah. Being a realist, yeah, it would.
In the same way, so you'd understand if a guy viewed like basically sleeping around a lot the same way.
But then we've got Okay. But then we've got if you ever like 500 Days of Summer is one of my favorite films, and she says when you know, you know. And I've dated a lot of guys who are like, I'm never gonna be in a relationship. I'm never gonna. I was like, well, you will. You will meet someone at some point in your life. It's probably inevitable that you will meet someone that you're like, I'm going to settle down with you.
I don't agree with when you know. I think that you make a choice and like that's it. Like I don't think most people
when you know that it's the right choice.
But I'm saying I don't think you'll ever know. And I think that's like a lot of like now fear today and like dating today is people thinking that they're just going to know. But all you can do is make a decision with the information you have.
But then you'll know that that's
like,
your decision.
And even nowadays, like people are dating like what a decade.
I don't believe that there is a one or a soulmate. I just know that, guys, look, us people in the red pill space, we can say, don't get married, don't have kids. It's a bad idea. But in my lifetime, most men are going to get married. There's never going to be a point where in society in general, less than 50% of men get married. Not while I'm around. But so unfortunately, but what happens is a man will achieve enough and say, I can get married now, and he'll start looking for a woman to do it. That's what it is. And if you are in a major city, if you are in a city that has a football team, a basketball team, and an international airport, there are women from all over the place. And guys, you owe it to yourself to be productive as a man. One, even if it's not for a woman, you owe it to yourself to be productive. But number two, if you're in a major city, Los Angeles, DC, Chicago, Dallas, you have a more of a chance to find a traditional minded woman who's not from this country or who's from a different culture. And I know too many guys who didn't uphold their masculine burden of performance, and they met a traditional minded woman, and the woman just moved on because he didn't do the work necessary. Now, I don't recommend getting married. I don't have any children, but a lot of guys want to. And if you even think that's a possibility, you need to achieve and become the best version of yourself, because if you live in a major city, you could meet a traditional minded woman. They're few and far between, but they do exist.
Decade, 5 years, 3 years before they decide to get married. Do you think those people just knew if they're dating three? Like, no.
Oh, this girl's name is Amy.
I don't
3 years. Like,
I don't think they know it's the one. I don't believe in the one, but I think they know that they, especially, and so that's research shows that women will kind of look for that long term. Men will get to a point where they're suddenly like, oh fuck, I kind of need to settle down now. Ergo, I'm gonna look right. If she's here and she fits in, she'll do. So men actually technically end up settling, and they don't know she's the one.
Why is it settling? It's they just made a choice. They said, I'm looking to like get married in this time frame. This girl fits everything I'm looking for,
but she doesn't necessarily fit everything they're looking for. That's why it's settling.
Because people aren't perfect. And so I don't think it's really settling if you say, okay, she doesn't have every single.
You're like, it's kind of like, do you know what she'll do?
Yeah, and I think women like
men have been settling since the beginning of time. You want to know why I say that? Because you get with a woman, right, and you have to accept the fact that you give everything you have to a woman and your family. Women call having to be selfless settling. So in that vein, men have been settling since the beginning of time, because the expectation is that a man needs to put his ambitions aside, what made him great, to support his wife and his children. And also, when you get married, most men, we were created to keep that image of a woman on our wedding day in our brains for the rest of our time with that woman in a marriage or serious relationship. That's why you see these guys putting up with a woman who gains a bunch of weight, who's a whale, treats them like garbage, because they hold on to that image of her in that white dress on her wedding day, even 20, 30 years later. Women don't have that mechanism, but men do. Isn't that funny?
Could be better, but she'll do.
Yeah, but I think women like probably could, have a little bit more he'll do. I don't think that's a bad thing, because I'm not perfect. I can't expect the guy I date to be perfect. And so like, I don't like the word settling. It's not settling.
Yeah, I low-key agree, because especially with like romance and like novels and like films and stuff, you believe that there's this idea of the one, and I know, and it's like, you actually don't. You actually just need to be okay with what is and what's happening, and be like, will you want more? Probably. A lot of people in relationships and marriages, you can ask someone and be like, what do you love about your partner? What do you not love? What do you wish was different? Like,
this is back on that time, because I remember watching this live. She was one of the first people I had ever heard say the word partner so many times. I guess Europe, they say it all the time, but I didn't really hear people saying the word partner here until about 2022 or 2023. And I just thought it was so weird. Even now, it's so weird. Guys, if you ever put yourself in a position where you're supporting a woman or you're married, which I don't recommend, but if you do, and she calls you her partner, give her 1 or 2 strikes and say, you don't ever say that again. the burden of performance put on men in most relationships to keep a woman, you're not her partner, guys. Don't even let her entertain that language. I'd be pissed.
Even I would not date a snorer, and that's if you don't have a driver's license and you snore, and people are like, well, that's not many people's fault. That's no. I was like, I literally know that I would want to kill you if both of those things weren't a thing.
Yeah.
But if I really loved a guy, then I'd be like, well, fuck it, I don't care.
That's
I
the
don't
thing
care.
They always say, like, girls have all these standards till they meet the guy that makes them not care.
But then it's like, well, do I know, or am I like, yeah?
But here's the I always say, I'd be the type. I swear to God, I'd get married in 6 months because I feel like there's risk. There's risk regardless.
Yeah.
I'd rather just do it and hope for the best. And if it
So it says women are naturally selfish, men are selfless. Only religion and social norms make women selfless. Now both those two are gone. I agree with that 100%.
doesn't, I'll get divorced. But I'm not gonna go into something like, okay, being afraid of divorce, whatever it happens. I hope it doesn't happen to me.
Do you think you would be more afraid of divorce if you were a man?
Oh yeah, I absolutely would.
Yeah, why is that?
You know, I'm gonna try something here. I am going to go to StreamYard here. And I am going to post a link, and I want people to come up for the last. We'll give this a try, and I hope everything works. But because we've been going for, let me see. 1 second. We've been going for an hour and 43 minutes. I'm gonna finish out this show, and I'm gonna let some people up, and let me know. Hold on. 1 second, guys. Hold on. Sharing. 1 second. Copy. Okay. And I want to hear from you. When did you first come across Pearl's content? Let me know. And then from her pregame show, what do you remember the most about her show in London? I'm going to drop the StreamYard chat. Anyone who wants to come up will come on in. And we'll spend the last 12 to 13 minutes of the show just chopping it up about the show here. Because I miss these days. I remember, but these shows were really bad for Pearl's health, man. Let me tell you, it was rough. Make sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and put in the chat if this is a good idea, if you enjoyed yourself so far, and in the comments after the fact, if you want to see another one of these, let me know, and I will do another one. Once again, I plan on doing one tomorrow on all of the kickouts, because I think there's 3 good ones right now. There's 3. So if anyone wants to come up and tell a story about when they first encountered Pearl's content, and that would be good. Any moments from the show that stick out to you off the top of your head, click that StreamYard link. Come on in. Rodolfo, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm good. Yourself?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So were you around in the good old days?
I want to say I started watching Pearl about 2 years ago when she was in London, but I don't know if she, like when this video came out, I was late in the game, so I wasn't, I wasn't there from the beginning.
Okay.
But I want to say about 2-3 years ago, yeah.
Okay. And any notable moments from the London show that you can remember off the top of your head?
I wish I could remember the girls' names, but I mean, obviously, Cheska, her 24-hour live stream, and there's this it was the last show I saw, but she was really going hard on this one girl, and I wish I could remember her name, but she was a white girl, and she ended up on the whatever podcast she debated with.
Oh yeah,
Wilson.
Pixie. Yeah.
Oh, that was Pixie.
Yes. Yep. Pearl went in on Pixie, bro. She went in. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's because I'm thinking about that whole Destiny thing, and I was like, but that's a whole nother thing.
I'm telling you, man. Destiny's gross, but he has quite the roster, man. He really does.
Bro, I'm saying, man, like, you know, this red pill shit or the stuff they put in our heads, right? It's layers and layers. But I remember looking at Lauren Southern. I was like, damn, she's really hot, whatever, right? And now I'm like, all these bitches are the same. You have a little fame, you have a little money, you can get them. Well, why am I respecting these hoes? You know what I'm saying?
That's the magic question, man. That's the magic question right there. If you can answer that question, you'd solve the riddle to the universe, my friend.
And like this guy at work was telling me how he doesn't want to date someone younger. I'm like, bro, these girls go on camera and have sex with older men, like grandpa age. Like, what is this? What's that code or whatever you have in your mind? Like, just get over it.
Well, and here's the thing, like, feminism is social and economic communism, right? Women that are older want to even the playing field. That's what it is. Women want unlimited and unfettered access to a man's libido, a man's interest, and a man's money their entire lives, from when they're young to when they're old. That's all it is.
Yeah, they're just, it's so weird because like Patrice O'Neill would say that they're not even conscious that they're doing it. They're oblivious to it, and that's the most infuriating part.
That's not true, man.
Oh, really?
Maybe like back in like the 2000s or something, but women know exactly what they're doing now, man.
Well, I'm sorry. He was talking more about like how they'll manipulate you, and like
they still know what they're doing now, man.
No, well, he put this example. Him and his ex were about to go to bed, and his ex was like, "Hey, what side of the bed do you want to sleep on?" And he's like, "Oh, the left side, whatever." And she's like, "Oh, well, I wanted to sleep there so I could watch the TV." And he's like, "Well, what the hell are you asking me for? Just sleep on the whatever side, right?" So it's like they don't understand those little things. And I get what you're saying, the modern woman does, but like I remember growing up to that, like girls would do little cutesy things, but they wouldn't understand that they're being passive aggressive about it.
Yeah, women do now though.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really glad that I'm not young. You know, I'm really glad that I grew up. Can you imagine being in high school right now, guys?
Bro,
Can you imagine?
Oh.
Or being in college? Can you imagine being in college right now, guys? Oh no.
Why would you respect any of them? It's like, I remember, I told my girlfriend this. I remember back in the day, porn was your last resort as a female, like the military was for men. But now they just use it as a tool. They don't even think about it.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'm 44, and there are, I think it's our age and older.
Therefore, you're like,
sorry.
Corn was for average chicks and uggos that couldn't make it in Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like you didn't see pretty girls do the adult stuff, but now you see girls that 40 years ago they'd have just married a rich guy, married a lawyer, married a doctor, and now 18, boom, they're on OF. It's like, dude, really? You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. And the thing is, once again,
just real fast, help me out, right? I don't.
Need money?
I'm not a psychologist, but I don't understand, like, because like Rodolfo, well, like both of you are saying, corn was like a way for a man to like look at stuff and get off and stuff, whatever. But now it's everywhere, right? And like, how is the fact that corn is free lead to OnlyFans? Like, what is it? Like the paywall kind of forbidden part? Because I don't understand why, guys. There's corn everywhere, but guys pay for OnlyFans. Why?
It's a generational thing. I think. I honestly believe, guys. So, like, with the Constitution, right? They were like, we will make the United States of America. For the First Amendment, guns. Oh, wait. We can't seem like savages, right? Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, Second Amendment, guns. You know what I'm saying? With the internet, it was like they were going to do corn first, and then they're like, you know what? Let's do the nuclear codes. And then after that, there was like corn on the internet. So this stuff's been on the internet for the last 40 years. You know what I'm saying? Since the 30 years, since the 90s. And kids
I have to ask you, when did you first come across Pearl's content?
The first time that I actually saw her content, when she was on the street, and she was attacked by that zoo animal. You know,
Oh
she
the
was
whale
walking down.
attack. I remember that.
By that majestic sea creature. That went viral. That's when I first saw Pearl's content, and then this right here, this one right here, this chick right here, when she went viral, because this is like, okay, I think the thing that drew me to Pearl's original content was, guys, you know, think about in our media, English accents usually make people sound smart. The villains, professors, you know what I mean? But when we saw her shows in England, we realized these English 304s, they were the exact same. You know what I'm saying? I don't want an average guy. I think I'm a 10. I'm not fat. Please.
And
you know what I'm saying?
The nice part about it is, I think AJ brought this up originally. I'm stealing it from you, but why do British B-dubs talk like they've had the same experience and oppression as American B-dubs?
Jim Crow and slavery. There was no Jim Crow in England, you goof. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like,
I know they
hold on. Sean, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Can you hear me?
Yeah. When did you first come across Pearl's content?
I think I probably came across it about the summer of 2022. So,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I thought her content was pretty good. I think she was interviewing a lot of folks in London around that time. And I noticed that I always thought that, you know, similar to you, that the whole British accent, British folks were a lot more sophisticated.
Yeah.
Especially since I worked under a guy who was actually from the UK and he was a much older generation. But watching that pregame show, it was just very clear that, you know, all the class that I guess the British folks used to have, it's pretty much totally gone. It's pretty much just the folks that are just drinking and screwing around. There's very little productivity that's left up there. So I think the UK empire has really fallen.
Yeah,
Like
leave
what
it
Tanya
to a 304 to ruin an English accent, you know? And guys, the UK is cooked. You know what I mean? So for all you guys who might not know a lot about what's going on over there, everything that we hyperbolically say about America, the UK and Canada are in, right? But the UK, Sweden, they're just cooked. France, you know? So anyways.
I read a statistic about Belgium. Apparently less than 20% of people living there are actually Belgian.
Why?
And you know, fact check yourself, of course, but I was like, what the hell? Like, why is no one? And it kind of clicked in my head. I was like, well, no one's talking about it. No one's.
Yeah, they're not allowed to.
I remember growing up, and there was always commercials about traveling to Europe. Movie like Hollywood would always have one movie in Europe. You know, like Disney shows or, you know, whatever popular TV show, they would always go to London or something. But I don't see any of that shit going on nowadays.
Yeah. But yeah.
It's funny, you know, we talk about immigration here, but, you know, the biggest migration of people since World War II has been people from the Middle East to Europe.
I agree.
The last like 10, 15 years. It's insane, dude.
Yeah. Here's the thing, guys.
And then there's the liberal paradox where to be a liberal, you have to be accepting of everybody, but then you're accepting of a group of people who are diametrically opposed to all of your liberal beliefs.
Yeah. And I agree with that. I think a lot of folks, whether it's in Canada with their mass immigration from folks in the sort of Eastern Hemisphere, or whether it's the Europe and the mass immigration from the Middle East, or us here in the US and mass immigration from sort of Central and South America, I think a lot of people don't understand that, you know, the folks that are going there, they're going for economic reasons, and they could care less about the history, the culture, the values. They just see it as a, you know, economic opportunity zone. Yeah. And they will not conform to what's there. If anything, when you have mass immigration, what you end up having is folks from those cultures just form their own ghettos in the community, and they have no sort of any expectation as far as actually assimilating to the culture. Yeah. And what you end up having is a hollowed out country where you become a nation of strangers. You have no values, you have no real history, you have no legacy, and your country's just going to continue spiraling downwards if they continue on that trend.
Well, here's the thing, guys, is this Canada.
Hold on. What'd you say, Rodolfo? Go ahead.
Oh, that there's no, like, within a culture, there's no one truth. Like, you know, America, they had the Johnny Appleseed, and you know, they had their own folklore. But if you mix enough people around, nobody really cares that your favorite artist died. You know, like the Beatles were famous back then because a lot of white people, let's just say it, like the Beatles, right? And that's what was popular on TV. Well, now there's so many people, so many languages here in America that there's no one star, because you can make anybody a star. Anybody can be a star. So there's no one story. There's no one common truth between anybody anymore. So
well, there's a common truth in America, and that's our national identity. Because remember, Canada, Australia, New Mexico, New Zealand are the only countries on earth where so anyone can come here, get their citizenship, and be American, right? Us four guys, we can't go to Poland and be Polish. We can't go to China and be Chinese because there's an ethno-national link there. Does that make sense? So when we have our American values, they are universal American values that anyone can adopt. Whereas, like,
but changing that.
No. What I'm saying, well, not
like, what is it like? You know, 9/11 brought us all together, and now all the things that have been happening in the United States, like the flood that I live in Texas, the flood that happened here, people were making fun of it.
Yeah, but that's just on the internet, though. You get up at 9 a.m. on a Monday, you walk into the street, you see people getting up and going to work, paying bills. You know what I'm saying? It's a small fringe group of people that just talk trash on the internet. You know what I'm saying? But like a friend of mine's from Russia, and she's 65. So she grew up during the Cold War. And she said when she immigrated to the United States, she was scared. This is 1996. Because the Russian government told the people, the Americans are evil and they're coming, da, 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 da. Then our government told us the Russian people are evil. It was the governments telling us that the people on the other side were bad, when most around the world, people are just getting up and trying to go to work. The people that are talking bad about the Russians
have the internet.
Yes,
we have the internet now, so we can see
what that
well,
does.
Remember the cough. Neighbors were trading in other neighbors.
Yes,
but they wouldn't have been able to do that back in the day as effectively because they didn't have
a small minority of people. Okay. Now we've given a mouthpiece to the most vocal minority.
So I guess I would counter, what you guys have just said, because if you ask most immigrants who've come over here, even those who've gotten their green card, they've eventually got their citizenship, you ask them, what are you? They won't identify as an American. This is not like it's ancient Rome and you immigrate from whatever country you are over there and you earn your way as a Roman and you identify as a Roman. Most of the folks who come over from a lot of these third world countries will never identify as an American.
They might not, but their second, third generation kids will. Their grandkids. So like people who immigrated here in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, their grandkids now call themselves American to where they can't go home and say that they're blank. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
I'm gonna. This show is supposed to be about Pearl and Pearl shows. So, but I'm gonna bring it back on topic here because we're almost at 2 hours, and I want to keep these around just 2 hours long.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just
what Pearl does brings us all together.
But I think that this is when she started blowing up, and all the haters started coming in on her, especially all these chicks. And I am black, guys. Did you ever hear these chicks saying, "Oh, well, why does Pearl only have B-dubs on there?" Because guys, B-dubs are the most willing to show their behinds on podcasts. They're the most willing to go on a podcast and act a fool more than any other group there is.
Yeah, because that's what happened with Homeboy in the last clip. He's trying to say, "Oh yeah, she has something." No. Her recruiters would just recruit whoever was willing to come on the show, and most of the time it was B-dubs. That's it.
I would agree with that. I mean, if you look at who has the least amount of shame as far as how they act, how they dress, how they disrespect men, B-dubs. Like,
I'm allergic.
Not many Asian folks willing to sign up to show up on this show or Fresh and Fit podcast.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why, right?
Yeah. Yep, Glocktavia is always willing to freaking sign up for the podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of us were actually stunned by the fact that the women in the UK were saying the exact same things that the women over here were.
No.
Right, like to a T. Even when she had the biggins on her show, these large chicks. I didn't really think that there was large chicks in the UK until Pearl's show. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't. I thought that there were all these like classy chicks, but I've never seen such a like ratchet group of English people, of British people
I don't
until
know.
Pearl's show. So
I look at any girl, any age, from any place, any education level. I look at them all the same. They're all dumb, and they're all gonna break down eventually into their feminist nature or their feminine nature.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
like after 30, you can't ask yourself why anymore. You just gotta accept it.
And I'm gonna look through some of the shows and try to see, because I want to try and get a thing like how much were pros talking on a show, and then we can gauge how much worse it is now, because a lot of things on her shows are prophetic. Honestly,
yeah.
you know, she's in a room full of women trying to talk some sense into these broads, and then and I gotta find some of these women's TikToks and Instagrams and try to do an. I should do an update show.
Yes, please find Cheska.
Oh, you know
please.
what? You know
and
what?
that girl that was with
this.
Andrew Tate. I forgot her name.
Brittany Renner.
No.
No, the dark skinned black girl who wouldn't leave.
Delilah.
Yeah, who wouldn't leave? Who was
no, that was Esther.
Oh yeah.
Guys.
But Danala, I think Danala was the most infuriating.
Danalva.
Yeah.
Guys, look at this. Because this was the first girl on the show to call me out because I was calling her a whale in the chat. And she's like, oh yeah, Doug in PA, he needs to stop talking about my weight. Look at this girl, right? This girl was on Pearl's show multiple times. Look at this girl. Her name's Pia, right?
Yeah, she's fat.
Look at this girl, right? This is how she was on Pearl's show.
Damn.
Look
that
at this.
girl loves food a lot more than men.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Okay, look at that, right? Look at this, right? She's like a smooth, like 280 right here. Look at this.
Damn.
And she's all about the body positivity and stuff like that. Look at this, right? I'm trying to find this.
Is that
look
a
this, right?
No, that's just
right.
Amy
Now, one more look at it, right? She's like a smooth 280. She was on the show. I'm fine with my size and blah blah blah, right? Look at this. Are you guys ready? Look at this. Wait, that's her now.
Is that AI generated or is she sponsored by Ozempic?
That's her now.
Nice, but yeah. Hey,
and you know
saving
what?
lives.
This is me clapping. I'm not even trying to diss. She did it.
That tells you she's motivated to get married. She's listening to Pearl's content.
Yeah.
And I don't even care how she did it. Ozempic, I don't care. Pia, I hope you come on the show and do an update. I'll apologize for calling you a whale so many times in the chat.
You got to do it by date.
Yeah, my personal opinion is I think fat shaming works. Like,
guys, can we agree though that all the far left crazy progressive antics, these issues women vote for, but they're the ultimate victims of? They want open borders and soft on crime, and then once crime spikes, who gets whopped upside the head with a brick? Chicks do, right?
You know, that's female
Transformers, right? That affects them the most. Us guys will be just fine. You know what I'm saying? But they're voting themselves into oblivion, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think women like the idea of being able to virtue signal and say whatever they want, but they want to be free of the consequences of when that actually happens. They want that to be pinned on somebody else, and they say, hey, I'm a victim. You know, I was a dumb girl. I didn't know any better. You guys should have told me. So that's always going to be a thing. As long as girls see that other girls, like they have a herd mentality. If they see other girls are doing this, they're going to do that. If they see other girls are playing the victim card, they're going to do the same.
Look at this.
Who's that?
Look. Still.
God damn.
That was her.
Are you sure she
back-
lost the weight, Doug? I'm pretty sure that photo above is AI generated.
Back in 2023.
Dating apps.
And
I'm just
once
saying.
again, Pia, if you're watching this is nothing but respect. I
Wow.
can't. I remember when she was on Pearl's show, and I was just clowning. But yeah. Just one more time.
Was
This
it a
is-
pregame show or?
Yeah, it was.
Oh wow.
We'll have to do. I'll have to cover the times where I got called out in the chat by these
Oh.
because I was wild in the chat back then. Yeah, but that's her now. Congratulations, Pia.
Yeah, no, you should
You
do
did
a
it.
live update on all of Pearl's ops or
Mm.
whatever they call it nowadays.
Well, there's one thing that I can say, guys. These 304s don't grow up; they just grow old. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
I mean, why do you think she lost all the weight? Like most girls know that they have an expiration date, and right before they're about to hit that expiration date, whether they're an actress or they're a girl trying to get married, whatever it is, they're gonna get their body in the best shape possible because they know most women in the U.S. and most Western countries are massively overweight and
not B-dubs.
Well, I'm hoping that she comes on the show and she tells like how she did it, and because I'm telling you, nothing but respect. Like I don't care, and I don't even care why a woman decides to. I don't care how she does it or why. If you take Ozempic, hell, if you get an eating disorder, I don't care. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree. I agree with Doug
Yeah.
as to like I don't care like how she did it, but I do want to know the reason why though, because most girls are motivated for a specific reason. They're not going to stop giving up eating as much food as possible unless they're getting something in return. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
All right. Well, I'm gonna wrap it up because we're around 2 hours. Thank you everyone for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna go live tomorrow with 3 of Pearl's kickouts from the pregame show. Once again, all of her old content is on the Audacity network. So go there, and we have an application process now because we're moving the Pearl Invite Learning modules over there. We're trying to put the learning community back. So, but anyway, if you're already on the site, you're going to be grandfathered in because you guys have been supporting Pearl for so long. And thank you everyone in the Audacity chat. Dustin, Lacinia Almanza, always good to see you. Avni Man, everybody, thanks for being there. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up.
Thank you,
Make
Doug.
sure you tune in tomorrow,
Thank you.
okay?
Bye, guys.
Thank you, Doug.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Take it easy.